Today I want to share one of my favorite legume recipes, especially when I'm feeling like having warm and comfy stew. It's bursting with the creaminess of yellow split peas or dal with roasted eggplants. It is a famous Persian stew called Gheimeh Badamjoon, and it's inspired by my in-laws' recipe. To make it easy, I'll divide it into 3 main steps: roasting, stewing the split peas, combine all ingredients, and serve. Let's start with roasting the eggplants and tomatoes. First off, I'm going to preheat the oven to 250 Celsius. Now the eggplant. I'm going to cut the green parts of the eggplant. For this recipe, I'm using mini eggplants because they take less time to roast, especially when they need to cook in less oil. Now cut them in half. In the traditional recipes, the eggplants are typically cooked in the pan with oil. But roasting them in oven not only saves you lots of oil and cholesterol, but multiple dishes to wash. Once you cut them all into half, score the inner flesh using the tip of your knife. Run your knife gently, making diagonal lines, and then rotate the eggplant and repeat on the other side. It doesn't have to be perfect. Basically, the idea is to open the flesh so the heat can penetrate into the eggplants and cook at the same time as our legumes. There you have it, our beautifully scored eggplant. Lay them in a baking tray next to our vine tomatoes. If you try to avoid washing the tray, you can use parchment paper. Now drizzle some olive oil or avocado oil, or you can spray them, brushing them a little just to make sure the oil is evenly coated. Brushing a little around the tomatoes. Sprinkle a pinch of pink salt, and it's ready to go to the oven. I'm placing them at the top of the oven just so they get those nicely brown color, and set them to cook for 20 to 30 minutes on 250 Celsius. Now moving on to the second step, stewing the split peas. In this recipe, I'm using 1 cup of yellow split peas, or you might know it as dal. Wash the split peas under tap water and gently rub them with your palm to remove all the dirt. The common rule of thumb is until the water runs clear. Now set them aside. Next up, I'm going to dice the onion thinly. I'm using 1 big size of red onion for its sharp and sweet flavor. You can use whichever color, it's up to you. And next, we're gonna saute the onion in a pot. Heat the pot over medium heat and add olive oil. Bring the chopped onion to cook until soft and nicely translucent. This will take you around 3 to 5 minutes. You might want to keep stirring to make sure they're evenly cooked. Once translucent, I'm adding black pepper, ground turmeric, and cinnamon stick. You want to toast them a little bit until they make nice aroma. Now it's time to add tomato paste and the yellow split peas that we washed earlier. Give them a bit of stir to let the peas absorb all those previous ingredients. Now the water. And pink salt for seasoning. Increase the heat to bring the water to boil, and once the water boiling, reduce the heat to low and let it simmer with a lid closed for about 30 to 40 minutes, or until the split peas soften. We want them to soften just nice, still in shape and not mushy. 30 minutes have passed, and now on to the next step. By now, our eggplants tomatoes should be nicely roasted. Consider adding another cup or 2 of water to the pot since they tend to dry during simmering. Now transfer our eggplants and tomato into the stew. We'll still have one last special ingredient, but before that, if you like more recipes like this, subscribe to my channel and consider liking this video. The last ingredient. This is Persian dried lime, which is an essential ingredient to make gheimeh slightly sour. Before that, make some holes with a fork so that the flavor seeps out of the lime. I'm adding this last so the sourness and bitterness is added just nicely and not too much. Cook them for another 10 minutes with a closed lid and we're done. Serve it with rice or bread next to a salad. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Till next time!